Hey you guys, it is Shy Fox, and today's video I'm going to talk about my experience with opening up a store separate from Etsy. So I've had an Etsy store for a few years, and I had the idea to open up a store separate from Etsy. A lot of the time people want to do this because they want to avoid the Etsy fees, getting charged like 20 cents per transaction, like sale, on top of the other Etsy fees that comes out to X amount of dollars depending on, you know, how much you're selling your item for. So anyway, to avoid the Etsy taking their cut, and also to sort of just brand independently and have a site that looks like your own, like how I wanted it to look. So I tried this, I did this, and it is closed now, and here's what I learned. So the reason I'm making this video is because I want to share what I learned, and I also want to talk about why it's closed now. So I opened this store almost a year ago now, and I was selling my artwork on t-shirts and tank tops mainly, and just like cute characters that I thought people might like. And my, you know, community, mostly coming from my Twitch live streams, were definitely into it. I hyped it up in the beginning and talked about it. And on launch day, I made, I don't know, close to 10 sales that day. And then throughout the year, I found myself not really making sales. And I think my biggest mistake in regards to not making sales is, and understanding this, is if a store like this is going to succeed, because you're out on your own, it's under a URL that people are probably not going to be searching for in Google or anything, whereas of course Etsy has its own search bar and it's got the ability to be, for items to be searched for. Your items can be found through search terms. Your website and my website didn't have that. So my biggest mistake then is, of course, not advertising my store enough. And there are a couple ways that could have and should have been done. The first one is, of course, using my social media power. I have a decent social media following and have my YouTube channel is getting close to 10,000 subscribers, and you know, I didn't mention it in any of my videos. On Twitch, my live streams, I hardly mentioned it there, hardly put it on my Instagram, and I hardly put it on Twitter. And I'll tell you why I didn't do it. I could have, should have, if I'd cared about pushing my store to success. I didn't, because I felt like I was already advertising so many other things and asking so much already of my community, and it just didn't really, I also just didn't feel as passionate about this store in the end. I was just kind of getting distracted and doing other things. So I didn't go as hard as well making merchandise for it. I had probably 20-ish items, like 20-ish tank tops and 20 t-shirts or so of the same design. So the social media that I did or didn't do wasn't good enough, and I had the initial intention of having a separate Instagram, a separate Twitter, a Facebook page, and all this stuff for my store, and I just found I'm too busy, it's too much, it's already too hard building up my own under my Shy Fox art brand. To also do one under this Shy Critters brand just felt like way too much work. And it is, if you've, and probably have, spent time trying to build up a following on any social media, it's really hard. And it's going to be really hard too if the social media itself is just like a store, and I'm not really showing much of who I am in that store. So a lot of the times people follow you because they like you as a person, and that wouldn't have really come through probably in my Shy Critters. Otherwise, why wouldn't I just advertise that on my Shy Fox art social medias, which I also could have done. And again, I just felt like I was already on those, asking too much different things. And I mean, if you're gonna be a salesperson, you gotta sell. I wasn't really prepared to do that. Now, it's not just about social media. The other big piece, and this was what my plan was, I didn't do, was actually advertising, literally paying for ads. I soon found that I wasn't prepared mentally or financially to put money in before getting money out. I wasn't prepared to do advertising, so paying for ads so that people would see it. That's pretty much the way to get new people to your store if you're gonna run independently other than your social media. So a lot of money up front, and I guess I didn't have enough faith in some ways in my store and what I had to offer. I wasn't able to invest in myself, really. I wasn't able to invest in my business because that's what would have been required to run solo. I have come to decide though that the Etsy fees are absolutely worth it. If I pull up my analytics on my Etsy app, this is my belief. If you're going to be a small seller like me, and it's not that I'm a small influencer online, I've got decent followings, lots of, you know, thousands of followers on my various social medias. I'm kind of on all the platforms. I even have a TikTok now. It's not enough. It wasn't enough unless I'm going to directly draw attention to it repeatedly, and I didn't want to do that. So here, this is interesting. How shoppers found you, and this is for the month of July, from July 1st to July 30th. It's 2021, it's July 30th today. It says Etsy brought 42% of visits. That's huge. And I sell art prints and other things on this site, Twitch emotes, right? So, and then it shows you analytics. You brought 58% of visits apparently. So Etsy brought 42%. So it goes to show that Etsy is almost pulling it in half, and this is just my analytics for today. The numbers kind of fluctuate, and I've kind of noticed that Etsy will bring roughly that 42% for me. I am making sales because of Etsy as well. My social media is helping, of course, and I've been able to promote it, and I found it was hard to have multiple stores. I had an Etsy and this, and I just found, even though I wasn't selling t-shirts, and I'm still not selling them right now, I might sell them, I'll try that later, selling those same products and see how they do on Etsy. But yeah, I was just finding that it's great that Etsy has brought me so many people, and it's worth paying the fees, because ultimately I would be avoiding fees to run my own store, and in order to do that successfully, I would have had to put money out anyways. Etsy is the advertising, I guess, right? So put money here, put money there if you want the success, or you have to, if you're not going to pay for advertising, then you have to go super hard at blowing up a social media, and that is extremely hard to support your store and the branding there, which I couldn't do. So anyway, I hope that gives you guys some insight into what happened and kind of what I learned. And I just learned just how difficult it is to run a solo store, and I learned. But I hope that gives you some insight into why it is to also, as a smaller business person, hop on board with things like Etsy. So anyway, that is the video. If you want to see other videos by me, I am a full-time freelance artist. I am self-taught, and I have lots of things to teach and share, and I paint in Clip Studio Paint digitally. So if you want to learn about the best art program around, Clip Studio Paint, and I am not sponsored, I just really believe in that program, you can check out my other videos to teach how to draw digitally. It's not as hard as you'd think. I have some good tutorials. So anyway, with that, like and subscribe. Yes, that would be so kind. And comment if you have questions or things you'd like to see me talk about in other videos another time. All right, take care, you guys.